Hi, everybody, and welcome back to yet another cracking edition of the Matt Brown Show. This is the Secrets to Fail series where we're talking to CEOs and entrepreneurs all about their epic business blunders, the stuff they don't want to put on their LinkedIn timeline. And with us on the line is the founder and CEO of a great company called OppFi, Todd Schwartz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt. Pleasure to be here.
The privilege is all mine, buddy. So why don't you kick us off with the elevator pitch? Todd, what are you guys up to there at OppFi?
Yeah, so OppFi is a mission-driven fintech platform that helps the everyday Americans gain access to credit and rebuild their financial health. When I founded the business, one thing that I had uncovered is about 15 to 18%, about 60 million people in the United States lack traditional credit access or unable to get traditional credit access like credit cards, installment loans, things like that. And so, we solved to fix that problem. That's why we set out to build OppFi, to provide transparent products that were favorable for consumers, helping them rebuild their financial health and giving them the access they need to live their everyday lives.
It's such a huge problem. I mean, I moved to the States like 10 months ago and didn't realize how much this whole idea of credit is, like the credit rating system, how acutely important it is to get access to credit because everything runs off that, everything.
It's really incredible. Your social security number ties to your FICO score, and then really, your outcomes, how you live your life, and your outcomes are dependent upon that score. And so, unfortunately, some people, one of the things that I'm a big advocate for is credit education in schools, right, and personal finance courses. And you're starting to see some states pass mandatory requirements for high school and grade school students more about personal finance, budgeting, responsible use of credit. And it's not really taught in the schools. It has to come from the parents. And so a lot of kids in their early ages have some hiccups or mistakes when it comes to using credit cards and financial products that causes their credit score to get impacted. And then they're having to rebuild it. And it's really hard to rebuild because not a lot of people will give you a chance or give you that credit access you need when you need it. And so that's really, OppFi's mission and the problem that we're looking to solve.
Awesome stuff. Cool. So let's get on to the meat and the potatoes of this particular episode. Todd, what is your story of fail for our audience around the world today?
Yeah. So what I would say is, listen, I started this all with an idea of how I can make things better and how I can improve people's financial lives. I think the story that I would point out as a setback or a failure is I did everything needed to open the doors of OppFi back in 2012. I got the licensing. I spent the money to build an office, a very small office, a very cost-effective office. I took, $50,000 of my own money, and I opened the doors, and I made about 2 to 3 loans to people, and I met them. I learned their story. I learned why they needed the capital, and I was all excited, and I thought I had a gold. Like, oh my gosh, 4 people first day. This is going to be a huge success. We're going to roll. I'm going to build this thing, and it's going to go great. To my amazement, there was 20 days that went by in the first month where the phones didn't ring. No one was calling. There was no one that needed. And I was 21 days into the business. I was about to fold up shop, and I was about to give up. And I thought that maybe there's a reason that no one thought of this idea or started this business. But, there was something inside of me. There was something that I really felt like we were onto something, even though I had no proof. I had absolutely no evidence to show otherwise. I really felt like, hey, at least I'm helping people. So at the worst, I'll make a couple loans, to people. I'll help them get their financial footing. I'll help them rebuild their financial health a little bit. And it'll be like a thing that I can feel good about, and I can tell stories about to my kids and to my friends, even though it didn't work out. At least I tried something, right? And I put myself out there. Well, 21 days, the phone finally rang. I got maybe one or 2 other calls, and then it went silent again. So I think the first month in business, I did 8 loans, and you can imagine sitting there for 8 straight hours a day and only doing 8 of these. And building all this ahead of time to get to the point where you could do it. And I was pretty defeated and deflated. I really was. And I thought, hey, what should I do? And I called my dad and my mom, as some people do, to get advice. And my parents, wholeheartedly believed in what I was doing. They said, keep going, keep striving, keep fighting. You're doing something good here. And they said, how are the 8 people that actually interacted with? How were they? Were they pleased? Were they delighted? I said they were absolutely thrilled. They said this is the best financial product they've ever had access to. They said it's going to help their lives tremendously, and they go off of that and really build around that and keep figuring out ways to try to tell people and get referrals and that was the moment for sure that I felt the biggest setback, or if you will, failure, before the next couple of months started to build. Every month it just progressively built up until the business. I knew there was, after about 6 months, I knew this was a real business, and I knew we were really helping people.
Yeah, amazing, man. So what did that experience teach you? Like when the phones go quiet and you're not meeting your own expectations of yourself, what did those early formative experiences for OppFi teach you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think doubt everyone, never doubt yourself. Right? Like doubt everything, ask questions, be skeptical, but don't doubt yourself. And if you have a belief in something, like when you start a company, you truly have to fundamentally believe in it and truly have a mission behind it. Because if you don't, you're just probably going to give up, right? You're just going to say, well, you know what? It really wasn't that meaningful to me. I really didn't feel like that. My heart wasn't in it per se, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not the case. I really felt like this was a new thing that was going to help people, and it was going to change the way unsecured capital was delivered and accessed by customers. And so having that drive and that mission is really what centers you and grounds you, and it's your North Star in the low times. Because when you're starting a business, it's not a matter of if, it's when. It's Murphy's Law. You're going to encounter issues, and there's going to be several of them. When you start a business, just be prepared. There's going to be things that happen that you can't foresee, and it's really your drive and your grit and your determination that get you through it. That's really it. There's really nothing else. And you can't foresee a lot of this stuff in the early days.
Mm-hmm. Todd, how do you figure out what your mission is? So if there's a founder listening to us or a CEO listening to us, and he's like, literally, it's funny. I consult to CEOs around influence. And one of the guys I was chatting to this morning, he said to me, dude, like, I get no fulfillment out of this business anymore. And I said to him, well, it's not the end. You might be on the ropes, but it's only the end when you decide to quit, right? So that you mentioned that earlier. And I said to him, well, what if you could change the business or something, or pivot it to where you could wake up every morning going, hey, this is a mission that I actually, I care about. I care about this thing, kind of similar to what you've done. What's your advice there in terms of like figuring that out?
Yeah, so I think when you're looking just in general at the economy, at society, I like looking for large scale problems that I can solve, or at least make a dent in, right? Make the world a better place. And I believe that private business can solve a lot of problems for profit businesses if done correctly with transparency, integrity, and you really help people in a way that is everyday transactional in life, whether it's in financial services, whether it's in healthcare, whether you're looking to improve people's joy with content business. I mean, there's so many businesses out there. You really have to decide, okay, like here's the issue, here's what I see. There's a gap in the marketplace. You identify that, and then what can I do to fix the problem and really rally behind that and really feel like you're solving a problem for people's everyday lives. I think. You do have to put your investment hat on a little. There does have to be some type of pre-established market. Like, for example, when I started this business, I saw a large problem. So I knew that demand, if I did it right, would be there. It was about me providing it in the highest quality, like I said, most transparent, compliant way with consumer transactions, making sure people felt like the product had real value and drove real value to the customer.
So Todd, if you could get into the Map Round Show time machine and go back in time and do things differently, what would you do differently and why?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pick out one thing necessarily. I think what's important is you trust the process and let go of the outcome. if you show up every single day and just keep doing a series and be disciplined and keep doing a series of good things, and you're a good person, and you take your values-based approach and how you operate the business and how you treat your people, I think you're going to have success. I mean, there's different levels of success, and success is defined broadly, but I think I was very slow to scale OppFi. Like, it took we went public in 2021. So 9 years. Some companies like to go a lot faster. I kind of went at the speed that I felt comfortable, right? And I didn't want to go raise a bunch of equity and be forced to grow so fast. I didn't think that was appropriate for our business. I mean, some could say that I could have gotten to market a little faster and could have done things a little faster. And maybe I could have, right? And things would have, accelerated a little bit. I probably would have. I wouldn't have as many gray hairs, and I would have saved myself some stress. But I actually embraced it, and I embraced the process. So I don't think there's necessarily one thing I would do differently, because I think I've put my best foot forward, and I've really tried my best here to deliver the best results for our customers and for the people that work for OppFi.
Mm-hmm. So Todd, what's your advice to CEOs, entrepreneurs out there in terms of the importance of failing or failure in business success?
I mean, listen, it's everything, right? Jalen Hurts, after he lost the Super Bowl to Kansas City this year, said one of the most profound quotes. I thought it was original from Jalen Hurts. So I was like, wow, this guy's unbelievable. He's a great quarterback, and he's drops knowledge on you. He said you either win or you fail. Or sorry, you either fail or you win or you learn. Sorry, that's the point. You win or you learn, and that's a Nelson Mandela quote. I think that is so profound. You win or you learn, and that is really true, right? So you're going to have wins. You learn from it, and instead of calling it failure, you should call it a learning experience. It's an experience where you can gain more knowledge, and you don't make the same mistake twice. So that's what I would always say is, I was very careful that I always kind of felt like when we did something wrong or something got exposed as we were not doing something the right way, or that to the standards that I wanted the company to be at. I always learned from it, and I always made sure that we made it better. It's continuous improvement mindset. You don't have to build Rome in a day. You can just strive to get 1% better every week, right? Just have that mindset of, let's just continuously show up every day and question what we're doing, question how we operate, and see if there's incremental improvements. Now, if you keep your head down and you do that week over week over week, you're going to look up and you're going to have this tremendous, progress that you made. It doesn't happen like in these, there's no silver bullet. It doesn't happen overnight. It really is just a series of small wins and small learnings that build up to something great. Yeah.
Just to add to that, love what you're saying, Todd. For me, it's kind of are you a better business today than you were yesterday? You know what I mean?
100%.
That's the litmus test, because then failure in context makes sense, doesn't it? It's all these little things, that's the marginal gains, isn't it? It sucks right now, but if you just wait it out and you focus on your inputs, don't worry about the outcomes, then, and to your point, over time, if you just keep doing that every day and sucking it up, especially in the beginning, even when you're at scale, you guys are at a ridiculously level of scale. The problems, they never really change. You know what I'm saying? You just have to keep, as a team, keep focusing on this mission, and then over time you get there.
Absolutely. No, and our mission hasn't changed, right? We're 11 years into this, and our mission has not changed. It's the exact same as it was when we started. So the problems might be bigger, the things, but they're all the same flavor, same thing. But you got to embrace the grind, right? Embrace it, and don't be afraid of confronting things, and embrace that. And I think you'll do well.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Tell me, are there books, tools, or resources that you recommend other entrepreneurs, CEOs use on their journey?
I think, there's not necessarily one. There was one Harvard business study I read right early on that was pretty influential. And there was also Delivering Happiness, the book Delivering Happiness by Tony, I always say his name wrong. He was this founder of Zappos. And he unfortunately he passed away, but it was an unbelievable book about service delivery and customers. And really what I gained from those, it helped me think out of the box a little about our service delivery. Something that's so important to OppFi is our customer service, our customer rankings, how our customers perceive the value they get from our product. And, we've maintained an 80 plus NPS since inception. And that really shows we go a lot of our way to serve customers, to explain our products, to help them. We can't always say yes, but we can always treat people with dignity and respect. And we can always not waste their time. So one of the things I say is, like, if we're not able to arrange credit for somebody, let's let them know quickly, okay? Let's not drag them through the mud and then tell them, oh, sorry, can't help you today. I go, let's let them know quickly and give them a reason why, right? Hey, right now you have too many other products. Right now your bank account needs to get in better health before we can service you. It's not ethical for us to do that. So I think, like, those are the two things, like the Harvard Business Study, by people were willing to pay more for products and services for fast, efficient service. That was the big, like, takeaway from that. And then delivering happiness was like a customer obsession, like really focused on customer, how we can deliver the best results for customers. So I think those were the two kind of influential things early on. And also my father, was a great businessman, great value-based businessman, old school, operator, and a lot of values and just as well. So.
Todd, you're a cool cat, brother, doing a lot of things right. Love the fact that you're on a mission. That definitely resonates with me. But that does conclude your time in the hot seat, brother. Thank you for lending your perspective and, obviously being vulnerable. It's not easy to talk about our failures, especially on this show. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. And yeah, man, wishing you guys and the rest of the team, all the best of success, man, on your mission.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on the show. I enjoyed it.
Anytime. Thanks, everyone. See you again soon.